Hey guys, welcome back to part 3 of my full stack lookup series. Sorry for the delay on this current video. I got kind of busy with finals in grad school as well as the holidays. So hopefully I'll get back to a better schedule and do weekly uploads from here on out. So to lay out what we're going to work on for today, we're basically just going to get a chunk of data from this API that I found, and we're going to put that into a data file. And then we're gonna add some basic search functionality, and then if we have time, maybe add some styling to our search result. Okay, so let's get right into it. So the first thing I would normally do here is open a terminal window or open my terminal up here. So first thing we do here is new terminal, and as you can see, it opens it up right into that folder, so we don't have to navigate into that. And I'm gonna go ahead and start our application right here. So we'll do npm run dev to start the development server. And once it's started, we can control or command click here. And there you go, it'll pull it up. And as you guys can see here, we have what we left off with yesterday, or in the last video rather. So what we want to do here now is let's basically just add a simple search button. And then once we have the search button, we can have our data, or we can create our data file and display a data on search. So what I'm going to do here is create an onSearch function called const onSearch. And since our search value that we're going to pass into it is going to be our state, we don't need to worry about passing a parameter for now, unless we want to change that later. So let's go ahead and do that. And then we're going to go ahead and get rid of our p tag here that is displaying this text. So I'm going to go ahead and create a button. And then in this button, we'll type search for the text in the button. And if I hit save, we should see search. So another thing we want to do here is we want to make it so the button is in line with our text, because it's kind of poor practice to have the button under below like that. So we'll go ahead and we'll get rid of this flex call right here, and that should move the button to the side, and then we'll add some gap. There we go. And the last thing we want is to give our button a background, so it's not just like floating text. We want to give it some sort of styling. So we'll go ahead and add a class name, and then we'll do BG black. So that doesn't make any sense. So we'll do BG blue 50 for now, and let's do a darker color. Let's do BG 950. Okay, so we'll just give both our button and our input padding 2 here. There we go. Now nice and big, easy to click, and we have a nice little style around our button. Okay, so now that we have the styles done, I'm going to go ahead and add this function preferably to our onClick on our button. So when we click on the button onClick, it'll fire this onSearch function. And for testing purposes, we can create a little data file, since we're going to have to do that anyway in a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do new file data.ts, and then I'm going to make a simple data structure here, data or an array of objects that we can search into, and we can get some results back upon searching. So we'll do item name, and then we'll create a bow, damage, so that's 5, and then class archer. Okay, and then we'll do one more just to show what it's like when you search and get results versus not getting any results. We'll do item name sword, damage 5, and then class knight. Okay, cool. So now we have a little data structure here. We can go ahead and import that data structure. And as you can see here, I have these brackets around data. That's because we are exporting 1 instead of exporting it as default. If we exported this as default, like here, then we wouldn't need these brackets here. We could just import like that. But just for the sake, in case we end up having another data object in here, we'll leave it like that. Okay, so we have data here. Let's go ahead and do a filter. So what we'll do is we'll do a filter on the name. Say we want to search for the bow. What we'll do is we will basically get a filter result. So we'll do const filtered result. Actually, we'll do find result, because we're going to use the find function in JavaScript here. So we'll do is equal to data.find, and then we're going to say l.item name is equal to search value. We're going to create a search results state. And then we're also going to set this to unknown for now. This can actually be set back to string because we know it'll always be a string. And then we'll set this to set search results, and we'll console log our search results. Search result. Okay, so now when we type bow, we get back an object that matches that criteria. Okay, so I think what we should do now is we should just go ahead and add the typing for this. So I'm gonna go in here and actually add that. So what we'll do here is we'll do interface, data, and then we'll give it all the classes that it needs. All the object identifiers. So we'll do item name is a string, damage is a number, class is a string. And then data, we'll also set this. It'll be data array. And then this will just be data. And then we also need to import. We also need to distinguish these. We'll do data interface. Oop. And then we also want to export this so it can be used. Okay. And then data interface. And we can call it here, interface. Okay. And then since search result isn't assigned to do anything, it's yelling at me. So we can go ahead and just display these results below very quickly. What we'll do is we'll keep these in a div. So what you can do is VS Code is you can do Control-Shift-P and then type emit. And now we can type what we want to wrap this in instead of having to do all the jank to basically remove it and wrap it with a tag by hand. So we're just going to put this in its own div. And as you can see, the div pops in right there. And that makes it a lot easier to do that really quickly. And then we actually want to move this at least into here because we want to keep the styling. And then we can worry about the gap later, but we're probably going to change this to flex call just because we're going to have some results that display below. And if you're wondering why flex call didn't move this, it's because it wraps around this div and not around these elements. So anything that is inside of this div that is a child, a direct child, will have the column effects apply. So that's what we'll do right now is we'll do that to display our search results. So we'll do div, and then we will simply just take our search result and display each of its properties one by one. And it adds this ternary here because there's a possibility that it's undefined. And if it's undefined, if this comes up with no data and it's undefined after the search, it would break our code unless we have this ternary or this optional chain right here. Okay. And this should be damage. Okay. Okay. And then let's do sword. See what happens. Okay, cool. So that displays that little data. Okay, so what we're gonna do now, and this is something that will just get loaded in so we can do this for the next video, is we're gonna go ahead and head to maplestory.io, and it's an API that is built using C#, and I believe a MySQL database that hosts data for this video game called MapleStory, and within it there's a lot of items that we can grab just for simplicity's sake. So what we're gonna do here is we want to hit the item list API. So let me close this. We go to the item list. Okay, and once we have this API expanded right here, we're gonna go ahead and grab this request URL. So copy that, don't paste it yet. We want to enter in our parameters here to fetch specific data. So the region we want is GMS or Global MapleStory, and then the version is 62. And then one last thing we want to add, as you can see here, I've already done it, is we want to add this count param because there's about probably like more than 1,000 items in here. We don't need 1,000, let's just do 200 for now. And if I do that, it'll only grab 200 items, the first 200, and not sure in what order they're sorted by, most likely by the ID, as you can see here. So we're gonna do Control A, Control C, and copy that, and that'll actually be pretty much the same data structure. It'll just have a few other objects in it that we don't have, object keys. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace that right now. Okay, once you pasted it, you can see right here that our objects don't match typical JavaScript formatting as in our keys are actually wrapped in strings. So there's actually this handy website right here called Convert Simple, and I'll have that in the description below, where you can paste it, and now it'll remove all the double quotes around our object keys, and we can go ahead and just do copy the clipboard, and then let's go ahead and paste that one more time. Oops. Okay. And there you go. Now we have our objects fixed, and then the other error is that our data interface doesn't match our keys here, so we're just going to go ahead and remove or update this. So we're going to do data interface, and then we need required jobs, and it looks like that is an array of strings, so we'll have that. And as you can see, it's a string array, and that's how you do an array of strings in TypeScript. And then after that, we have required level, and that is a number. Is cache is a Boolean, and you know it's Boolean because it's true. If it's false, then true or false, then it's a Boolean, and that's the type you'll have in your TypeScript. And required gender is a number, 0 or 1, most likely for male or female characters, and perhaps other genders if there are in the game. Name is a string, desk is a string, ID is a number, and then this is the last one that might be a little difficult, is type info is an object. So we'll go ahead and do that, and then now we can add our typings. There you go. Now we have everything typed, so all of our TypeScript errors are gone. And now we can go ahead and go and search, and this is going to flip out as well. So instead of doing item name, it looks like we're going to do name. So we'll filter by name, and then I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these for now. Okay, and now let's see what happens when we search up. Let's take an item here, for example, Ninja Mask for Men. Okay, and if it shows up, that means the value is working. In the future, we might add a fuzzy search so we can have multiple results show, but for now, we're going to do single. So in the next video, now that we have our data loaded in here, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take each line of this relevant data that we need. For example, required jobs, the name, description, and the info about the item, and we'll go ahead and display that nicely. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a great holidays.